In Mongolia, wool is called white gold. Wool craft has been handed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. The wool is carefully weighed so the exact amount is used for the specific production. The wool fibers should be put in one direction. This is done through a series of combing movements called carding. A handful of wool is put between the carding brushes and they are pulled in opposite directions, pulling fibers into line. This is repeated until all fibers in a pile are laid into one direction and the wool is lofty and airy. The wool is carded with a carding machine to form 4 wool strips, 2 for each boot. 2 layers of white and 2 layers of colored wool are then used to form an ellipse with the boot template inside. A template defines the size of the initial ellipse to achieve the correct size and desired thickness of the boots. Wool has an amazing characteristic, which insulates against heat, cold, and sound. The traditional Mongolian home called gur is made entirely from wool. Also, wool is commonly used in Mongolia for boots, clothing, and for household items such as bed mattresses, floors, and wall rugs. Friction movements with hot water and soap called padding force the strands of the hairs to lock together to create pressed wool. Padding lasts between 45 minutes to an hour, and traditional methods are followed which pad the wool in specific directions. This is the most important step because Mongolians believe padding should be done by hand and not machine. Using hands while processing ensures that the natural characteristics of the wool are maintained, and careful locking of the fibers produce smooth and luxurious wool. The work piece is then kneaded for another 30 minutes to an hour until the piece shrinks to the desired size. Then it will be carefully rinsed to remove the soap. After rinsing, a boot tree of the desired size is put inside the wool and molded to ensure it acquires the form of the boot tree and becomes smooth with no wrinkles. Pellets formed during padding and kneading are shaved. The semi-finished product will be left to dry for 24 to 48 hours. After drying, the boot tree is removed and the sole and decorations are sewed onto the boots. A child's boot takes 2.5 hours of labor to produce. Another characteristic of wool is that when the wool is rubbed or worn enough times, the old layer sheds off and a new layer is brought to the surface, which helps boots remain fresh. Dead or unhealthy sheep fleece is never used in this process because the fibers will never lock to form wool. Dagva is 32 years old and father of 3 children. He has been making wool boots for 15 years. He took classes on how to make wool boots when he was 17 years old, after which he taught his mother and 3 brothers the art form. Now his wife and his 3 sisters-in-law make wool boots also. While his family is busy making these boots, his father drives all of his grandchildren to school. There are 3 million Mongolian people and 7 times as many sheep in the country. You'll find Mongolian people wearing wool boots year-round, as they claim they keep their feet warm in winter and dry in summer. Our mission is to create casual and comfortable footwear using the traditional Mongolian techniques of processing wool. Mongolian sheep fleece produces a thick, hardy, and luxurious wool. Our wool boot is substantial enough to resist slouching and stands up to daily wear. The unique qualities of Mongolian wool give lasting comfort to Zudari boots. Mongolian weather can be extreme, with temperatures ranging from -40 to +104 degrees Fahrenheit. To thrive in this harsh environment, local sheep develop uniquely protective and breathable coats. Zudari casual and comfortable boots are handmade in Mongolia using exceptional wool.